Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday evening, the day before Thursday. I just heard a young gentleman, his voice sounds young, give a teaching on YouTube on why he chooses Yahweh over Yahweh. So I'm going to teach the other side of the fence. Uh, as you can see on my hat is the Hebrew name that he says Yahweh, and it doesn't. And I just want to use a simple teaching here of common sense. So anybody out there that has common sense, and this is a flash teaching, so the lighting is not perfect. Okay, now there's a gentleman out there that it's all silver, and he teaches the first line of Genesis, and he puts all 22 plus 5. 22 plus 5. The original Hebrew had 22 figures in it, or we can call them letters or figures. And the very first letter or figure is in the middle of the first line of Genesis in the Torah, and it's not a word. Okay, we find this figure, and there's a 1 right here. It has a value or a rating of 1. Okay, and if you want to say that's a leaf, and it's silent. So the first letter that looks like a fancy N, is that an N? Yeah, it looks like a fancy N to this Gentile, okay, is the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and it has a value of 1. Now, here's the last letter of the 22 plus 5 figures that were added later, even according to the gentleman that numbered all of the 22 Hebrew letters from 1 to 400. All right, this is the last letter of the 2200, or of the 22 original Hebrew figures or alphabet. It's the last one, Sev or Tai, and it has a value of 400. The numerical value. Every figure in Hebrew has a numerical value. And this gentleman even said Greek has numerical value. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do know it's 10. Now, here's the same figure 300 to 500 years after the original alphabet came out of 22 figures. There was a priesthood family that added dots to help understand the meaning of the figures or the words, okay? So here's the same letter with a dot, all right? And it is the same Sev or Tev or Tai, okay? So one with the dot has a T, and the one without the dot has the SAV, okay? This figure right here is the 22nd figure of the original Hebrew, as a numerical value of 400. Okay, now on my hat are these 4 Hebrew letters. This one has a value of 10. It's the 10th Hebrew letter. This one has a value of 5. It's the 5th Hebrew letter. It is repeated. There are 2 H's in English in the sacred name of God that is found in Exodus 3:15, way back in the beginning. All right? And this gentleman, Phony Baloney, bases all of his beliefs for Yahweh is that if they chiseled a V5 over vet, or they couldn't chisel W, so they had to use 2 V's that looked like a W because it would crack the rock they were chiseling in. So therefore, he said he went with the first enunciation of Yahweh. Well, that's not true. The first enunciation of this letter, which has a value of 6, when the gentleman that revealed all the Hebrew words in the first line of Torah in Genesis when he counts all 22 letters, and he counts from 1, when he counts from 1 and gets to 5, which is pronounced like this, when he gets to, where is it? I don't want to flip the whole name yet. I've got to find, where did I hide it? There it is. When he gets to the 6th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which has a value of 6. The first 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the next bunch is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, all the way up to 90. And then the last few is 100, 200, 300, 400 to get to the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. This is the 6th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Does it look a little familiar to that letter that's right there on my hat? Well, it's not a wah. Even when he counts, he says vav or vi when he gets to the 6th letter that has a value, numerical value of 6. The 3rd letter in the sacred name of God is vivi vav or vet, no wah. And even if you take the original 22 figures or letters plus the 5, there is no figure or letter in Hebrew for the sound wah. So the 3rd letter on my hat coming from this direction, 10, 5, 6, 5, for a total numerical value of the sacred name of God of 26. And this 3rd letter with a value of 6, here it is. And when we flip it around, there's how you pronounce Yod, Yai, Hey, Vi, Hey. No wah. It's quite simple. So if you want to say Yahweh, which many Hebrew that teach at Hebrew colleges, Torah, Talmud, Tanakh, whatever, the Hebrew scholars, I've heard them say Yahweh or Yahweh. So apparently it's okay to say it. When it comes to writing it, there is no figure for a W, and this figure right here has a numerical value of 6, the 6th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and it is pronounced this way and not with a wah sound. Simple. So here's modern font. Don't let my bald head blind you. Boom, here's modern font. All right. Black hat. We're playing the hat game. Boom. Every one of these 3rd Hebrew letters has a value of 6 and is vivi vav or vet. So I put it on my Beale Street National Blues hat that I wore to Beale Street twice in 4 years for winning the blues contest at the Rhythm Room in Phoenix, Arizona. Ka-ching! YHVH. Yod Hai Vi Hey. Yod Hey Vi Hey. Vivi Vav or vet. The 6th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is pronounced not W, not Wah. There is no figure or letter in Hebrew for the sound Wah, for Yahweh. So I still don't understand why all you brilliant scholars out there insist on saying Yahweh, because this little old Gentile dummy has figured out the truth. But some people don't like truth. They don't like to hear truth. They want people to tickle their ears and teach them error. Reprobate minds in error. So just like you should say, give Jesus his deity and call him Lord Jesus, let's get the sacred name correct. And the name of God in 4 Hebrew letters, 4 consonants. And you can't say the name of God till you add vowels and attempt to say it. Yah-vah or Yahovah. And it's vivi vav or vet. There is no figure or letter in Hebrew. The original 22 figures of Hebrew plus 5 makes 27 figures. There's no wah sound or no letter in Hebrew. I love you. just taught you truth. B. Eugene Bear, got to get this one out there. There's a bunch of phony baloney clown teachers out there teaching you error. Be wise, listen. He that hath an ear, hear what the Spirit says to the seven churches, or to the beloved believers, or to the saint sons in a stewardship, saint son, elect, called, chosen, called, placed with gifts to reveal truth to the body. Bye.